Indoor cycling, Zwift, racing, parenting. We cover those and all of our hopes and dreams in between. Welcome to the Talk Dirty to Me podcast, an entertaining look into the lives of everyday people trying to achieve virtual cycling glory from our basements and garages from around the world. This podcast is rooted in Zwift and has evolved into found friendships, fitness, health, and a little sprinkle of humor. This may be one of the only podcasts where a little heavy breathing shouldn't scare you away, because we're riding our bikes while we're recording it.
Well, there's no countdown today.
I got a 3.
Hey.
Good morning. It threw me off.
Good morning.
Apparently the website
Good
that we
morning.
used to record also went through a little time change because they're sluggish today too. Anyway, today we have a little bit of a team reunion, minus, I guess, Truesdale,
Yes.
who we've ridden with for a while, who is going to give us a little bit of a female perspective on all this craziness, hopefully. Miss Hannah Peters.
Good
Welcome,
morning.
Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you for
Good
having
morning.
me.
Dad, is this one of our 3 female audience members?
She is 30% of the audience for the podcast. That is correct, I believe. Hannah, you're in good company. It's you, Drew's
Yeah.
mom,
Okay.
and I think Joy. Technically, Sully's wife watches it but doesn't listen. So,
Okay.
Just
like-
here's me.
Or she listens to Sully.
right, she listens to half of it.
With how much we talk about that every week, you would think it would be growing.
Well, listen, I'll get my 2 daughters. They'll probably check in. I mean, given that they're millennials, they'll only be able to last for about 30 seconds before their concentration wavers. But, you know, you've almost doubled it then.
That's not much
Shot-
different than us.
Shots fired at us.
Nice. Oh, speak for yourselves.
Greg's claiming the old card on that one.
Yeah, I eke out just out of millennial, I think,
We'll come
or I'm a geriatric millennial, or some stupid term.
we'll come back around to that. But,
Yeah, there you go.
so Hannah,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, what you do, all that junk.
Okie doke. Okay, so Hannah Peters, I am 53 years old. Contrary to some people, I am British, not Australian. And
It's okay. You can just say Miller.
Suck it,
I live in a suburb of northwest London, Greater London, called Northwood, with my husband Anthony, who's just over there. We've been married. It'll be 25 years in August this year.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you. We've actually been together 5 years prior to that, so 30 years. That's a long time. We have 3 kids. We have Amelia is 22, Sophie is 20. They're both currently at university. And then we have a son, Theo, who is 14. So at the moment, there's 3 of us at home, 2 geriatric cats and a dog. I'm an accountant by background. My husband and I have our own accountancy firm, which we run from home. I mean, it's just the 2 of us. It's very small. But because we run it from home, it gives me the flexibility to cycle, indulge my passion for Zwifting, you know, when I want to, where I want to, that sort of thing.
The dream, as they say.
Living the dream.
That is awesome.
Well, that's, yeah. So, your children being in university, for the American viewers, that's also known as college. Keith Miller.
College.
So anyway,
There might be a bit of this. I don't know if you're going to have to do subtitles or some, you know, some way of,
that's true. I'll slow your audio down so it's just
yeah.
a little smooth. No, I'm just kidding. We can understand you fine. Apparently, Drew is having technical difficulties. Drew, still there?
Should be back.
Who's
The
back?
wrong microphone was connected, and I only just realized it. Sorry
Okay.
about
When
that,
that
guys.
happens. Just kidding. It never happens.
All right.
Anyway, so Hannah is fresh off of the duathlon league. that correct?
Yes.
That was the most recent competition you've done?
That
We all
was.
know you're legendarily competitive.
Yeah. Still there,
Correct?
yeah. Correct. Guilty.
I know the only time I've ever heard, I'll say foul language from Hannah is whenever it comes to competing. She's passionate,
Let's say
ladies
that's
and gentlemen.
accurate.
She's passionate.
Yeah.
So the
I do like to
duathlon,
Yeah.
which is something new for you, right?
It was absolutely totally new.
Running.
Yeah. So, well, the format is well, it's a race series. This series, fortunately, was only 4 races because it's quite brutal. I find it tricky. The bike portion is 35 minutes on a predetermined course, and it is literally 35 minutes full gas, no drafting, as fast as you can. And then you have 10 minutes of transition where you're literally in a hot, sweaty, dripping mess, but you've got to try and switch your bike mode onto your treadmill, get all the tech set up. You have 10 minutes to do that. And then it's 15 minutes of, again, just running as fast as you can. So all in all, an hour in total.
An hour of pain.
Yeah.
A little different than an hour of sun,
And
too. Right?
are,
Go ahead, Greg.
points are scored on how much distance you can cover in each of those time segments?
It is. I don't know how the algorithm does it exactly, but I think my understanding is, it's distance-based, the points. No fastest through or anything like that. But I think the algorithm is slightly weighted to the running, unfortunately, of the two. Okay. Not massively so, but that's what, the experts, Jeff and Steve, say. It's kind of neglect the run at your peril, basically.
I hate to derail the conversation, but did you just include Steve as an expert?
Actually, yeah.
It's okay. I'll cut that.
No. Well, listen, you may laugh, but I am so out of my comfort zone on most things technical. So this ZDL thing, I had to run it. The cycling bit on is. I use Apple TV, but for this ZDL, I was running the first race. There was a potential bike swap. So if it wasn't bad enough, put a bike swap in there. So Apple TV and that remote, forget that. That's not going to work. So I decided I was going to try and use my iPad. So I then had to work out how to do a bike swap with the iPad. So yeah, I DM'd Steve and basically said, please help me out here. And he very helpfully wrote down all the stages and pinged it back. And then for me, because my brain just does not compute tech, full stop, I laboriously hand wrote each instruction out on a piece of paper, put it on my... Well, it was a bit more. It needed several post-it notes and a few instructions. And I spent the weekend before the Tuesday or Wednesday, rather, just practicing this darn bike swap. And even then, I was thinking, come the day, it's going to go horribly wrong because I'm going to be exhausted. I'm not going to be thinking straight. I had Anthony, my husband. He was there on standby to, whisk the iPad away if I just started pushing random buttons. As it stands in the end, nobody actually used the bike swap in the end. But thanks, Steve. He was really, really helpful.
Yeah, I tease. He is our resident run coach. So
yeah.
For all the runners in the group, run coach Steve.
All 5 of them.
I can't believe that they would
Didn't
actually have a course that requires a bike swap, though. Like, given the strict time constraints, that's weird.
Yeah, well, all the four races were held in Macquarie Island, and I can't remember exactly which the first course was, but it had a com, the long com, and it was borderline, but people thought, with a Swift bike swap, it will be advantageous to switch bikes and then switch bikes to come down again, because there would be the potential to back on the tarmac afterwards.
Now, prior to that, when was the last time you did a bike swap?
Never. There was one on TTT, wasn't there? And for some reason, I think I didn't do it that week. But
like, I'm out.
Yeah. That would
That's
have been
what
the
I
only
thought.
other
I thought I
time.
remembered one where we did a bike swap, but could be wrong.
Was that the jungle? Or
The road to ruin.
Yeah, it had to be the jungle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you were all worked up about that one too, and had your husband on standby to work the Apple TV for you.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, I know. We
Oh,
appreciate
it
the
is.
effort you put into it.
The blood, sweat, and literally tears.
That's right.
Sleepless nights.
That was
So now, go ahead.
no, I say that was the course that everybody learned. Zwift does actually have brakes of a sort. Going to the pairing screen,
Oh yeah, the pairing.
you
Yeah.
will stop.
Oh yeah.
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They-
I'm curious, Hannah, how did you find dirt, and then subsequently this group of ragtag individuals?
Okay, yeah. Cycling wise, if I go back a step, I've probably been cycling for 6-7 years. Maybe a bit longer. So I think I started cycling about 2016. Via my younger daughter was a triathlete, quite a good junior triathlete. And she had a road bike and a very smart trainer that we got her that was sort of lying around in the house. But I had no interest at that stage in cycling or anything like that. I just used to take a training, and I used to sit and read a book while she did a turbo session, something like that. But one day, for whatever reason, midlife crisis, I don't know, her bike was in the lounge attached to the turbo, and maybe I was thinking it's about time I did a bit more exercise, and I jumped on, and I thought, oh, okay, this feels quite good. Maybe there's something in this. Maybe I can, And I think in England as a whole, post London 2012, the Olympics, there's a big, cycling was getting really very popular, both road cycling and track cycling with Geraint Thomas, Bradley Wiggins, that sort of thing. So I actually went, and because my daughter's smaller than me, I couldn't use her bike full time. So I went to a local bike shop and said, can I have a hybrid bike, please? I'd like to buy a hybrid bike. And for whatever reason, the guy said to me, I'll sell you a hybrid bike, but I can guarantee in 6 months' time, you'll be back asking for a road bike. I said, oh, okay. So he sold me a very entry-level Jamis bike, which I, diligently rode for about 3 months, and then came back and actually upgraded to a lighter, specialised bike, and rode that for a couple of years. And I don't know quite how I found Zwift, but maybe somebody had recommended Zwift. But I think I joined Zwift in about 2018 or so. But to begin with, I was just doing my own workouts. I think I had a couple of in real life events that I was trying to work towards getting my fitness level up for. So I was doing these kind of winter seasonal endurance workouts. But I do remember that I started to join the Dirt XLR D ride on a Sunday. And at the time that was run by Jimmy Pongratz, who I better say hello to because I will make him watch this. So hi, Jimmy. And I mean, he's a lovely, lovely guy, and he's kind of like initially he was my older brother in the cycling terms, so full of good advice, that sort of thing. And like I say, I would do this ride on a Sunday, and there was a group of maybe 6-7 of us who would link up on Discord, the audio and video as well. And it's just a really fun ride. But we would be whizzing around, I don't know, the desert or something, all chatting on Discord, and then it would go very quiet. We'd come up to a sprint section, and I would just shut up, and 30 seconds of silence, and then ping. I would kind of emerge with the sprinter's jersey.
It's just that easy.
You're right.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, I would have to mute, or some cases I would put my phone down so I couldn't see the hot mess of my face. But essentially, if there was a sprint or something, I would want to try and get that jersey. And if I didn't get that jersey, I would, just leave me alone for 10, 15 minutes whilst I, recover from
yourself,
yeah. And I think on that basis, Jimmy said to me, Hannah, have you ever thought about racing? Have you heard of TTT? And I said, well, I knew what TTT was from having watched pro cyclists, the Tour de France, that sort of thing. But I said, no, tell me more. So he explained the concept. He is affiliated to Dirty Watts, and they race in a time zone, which meant that for me it would be the equivalent of racing at midnight. So that was a no-brainer. Yeah. So he put me in touch with Sully.
Much to his chagrin.
Yeah. And and the rest is history. So in a convoluted way, that's how I ended up in Eat Dirt through Jimmy.
So Jimmy was on our first team that we ever put together for World Championships.
Yeah.
He was on a night shift, so he rode with us for, a couple weeks, a month, while he was on like a weird shift schedule. And in that time, he passed Hannah over to us, like knowing that she was a cheat code.
I was actually just going to bring that up. Hannah is a cheat code because she rides at a level that is an A as a lady, but because
in terms of watts per kilogram,
right? But because of her raw watts and her size, she is classified as a C in mixed races.
Correct.
So she's our secret weapon.
I think my FTP has to be over 200 for me to.
And you're at like 199.8, right?
Well, I'm in the 190s. I'm not quite that level, but I'm comfortably in the 190s. So there's no chance of me promoting anytime soon. Currently, but I think they're talking about changing the categorizations, aren't they? So I may not be a C.
Uh-oh.
For much longer.
You're going to have to start riding Frappe with us.
She did the other day.
Yes, she did.
I did. But my first TTT, because I had to look back on Swift Power, was on the 2nd of January 2020. It was Tempest Fugit. So
nice and fun.
Didn't exactly play to my strengths.
The perfect course for you, yeah.
Yeah. Should I tell you who was in the team?
Yes.
Wait. Sully, me, Joe Gehring, Coleman, you.
Was it Fremont?
Oh, I can't remember the rest. No.
You're close. So there was no Sully. There was only 7 of us for some reason. I don't know.
Ooh. Somebody usually sleeps in or has a sick kid or
technical
gets left in the pen or something. Like.
Well, I'll tell you.
Right.
So,
what was our roster?
So it was Andrew Martin. Do you remember him?
Oh.
But I think he did
one race.
Was
he
it
started
one?
to do more running, didn't he? Yeah.
One race.
Okay, Andrew Martin. Lawrence. Do you say Lawrence?
Nope, I missed
Lawrence,
lines.
Andrew and Joe, you mentioned. Coleman.
Yeah.
Your good self and Rob McFeeters.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay. I remember that race because I remember falling off like with 1.5K to go. Coleman and I both dropped off, I think.
Yeah, I think you were pushing 2.1 watts.
Oh, come on. Maybe on average.
Yeah, sorry to break that to you. That was a long time ago.
I think I was still a fresh C at that point.
Don't make excuses.
Oh, yeah. But very kindly, they let me cross the line first, and obviously that was it. I was hooked after that. So.
Yeah, I will say, Hannah's climbing is of legend. because some of my favorite banter moments over the last year have come from you being on the front and the rest of us like aggressively trying to catch you.
Where is Greg at this point?
He's on the back.
Aggressively trying to catch.
Yeah.
I'll highlight one of my favorites was it was the week we beat the Vikings after their long run.
Greatest London flat, I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
First,
and you were on the
time
front.
that they did it.
It was you, Truesdale, Kelso, Greg were climbing because the rest of us C's had gotten you to the climb. And we're like, see ya.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Yeah. You're climbing, barely out of breath. And Truesdale goes, I hate you, Hannah. And you, without a pause, you go, oh, I love you. So
Yeah.
I'll always remember that moment. It's so good.
This is the banter.
The banter
Yes,
race.
the epic banter.
Yeah, that was the banter day.
Encouragement. Words of
Greg was
encouragement.
hardcore in the hurt locker that day.
Yeah.
I was deep in pain.
We're like, Greg, are you okay? Yeah, Greg's fine. He just can't talk right now. Just keep climbing.
Yeah. He's there. He's just not communicating.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember I made the mistake of standing way too early. I stood like halfway up that climb, and I needed to sit back down, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
Yeah.
And I
Anyway.
thought that because we set the course record that day,
Yeah.
and I thought that time was going to stand for a long time.
Then
It
came
didn't,
World.
did it?
It didn't.
Did not.
Which
Came along.
But thankfully, we're the ones that beat it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, at least you beat your own record. So I mean, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't even give you the proper due. I mean, yes, Hannah Peters, double world champion, the only other person in this
times.
podcast
Correct.
who can say that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. Sully is one. You're the only other person I can say that about.
I was going to say. Yeah.
So let's
Give
set
Sully
the,
so much
let's
credit.
set the stage though, Dad. I mean,
Well, hey,
this
man, that's
is
on
middle.
you. Go for it.
This is middle of Zwift Duathlon League season, and Hannah's like, like I don't really know how I'm going to do with this running. Like, World Championships is kind of like, don't count on me.
Right.
And we as a team had been targeting this for we've been talking about it for 8 months. It had gotten rescheduled in the fall.
See, I wasn't aware of that. That's news to me.
The
Which is probably
roster
a
had
good-
shifted
that's
multiple
probably a
times.
good- Yeah, but that goes, I just, So it's probably for the best that I wasn't aware of this, because I would have just, worried
Yeah.
about it.
Well,
But anyhow,
Just let it
continue.
happen.
And
Yeah.
thankfully Squirrel showed up, who is I
Yeah.
don't know how many championships he has at this point,
He's
but
also a cheat code.
it's at least 4 between
Yeah, that sounds right.
ZRL and TTT.
Yeah.
So he showed up and we started plotting, and the record that we thought nobody would ever beat, we beat by a minute and a half, something crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that was a good race. And then for me, I have to obviously wait for the time zones, the late time zones to come in and try and beat that
Yep.
score. So I remember that night, I just could not sleep. And I kept waking up and checking my phone. Okay, put it there. Have another hour's sleep. Just wake up again. Still there. I think it was Broster, I think, at one stage. When I said, yeah, we won, he said, just go to sleep now, Hannah.
Right. Yeah, tell me you're competitive without telling me you're competitive.
Yeah.
Waking up every hour to check your virtual cycling place.
That was
We would expect nothing less. So
No.
Zwift Community Live gave a lot of love that week too on the Platinum League race. They're like, I don't know if anybody's catching them. Those are always
But
fun.
now let's talk about your other world championship that you got, because all of us were a part of that. Even Greg.
Absolutely. Even Greg.
Greg was a part of
Definitely.
it. You can't deny
Yeah.
him
They
that.
didn't give him my helmet, but he was there.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it without him.
So you got an extra one you
Yeah.
can give him, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm a 3-time. I guess 2 times lift Atlantic champion, 2-time world champion.
Yeah. I've got to say that
With my buddy Keith Miller.
Yeah. That DRL series has got to go down for me as just the epitome of, well, it's virtual cycling. That, I don't know, the planets aligned for that season for all of us.
Yep.
They sure did.
100%.
We had C's who were at the top of their C-ness.
Yep.
We had experience, bucket loads.
Yep.
No injuries. I think we had a mix of strengths, didn't we? And that was key. We had, Dodd, Sully, LP, with
Peter,
with the
Coleman,
sprints
Drew,
and
yeah.
the power, and then we'd cover the bases with the climbs.
Yep.
So it was just everything was right.
Yeah, just like you're saying, it's all the diversity of the team as far as with you as a climber. We had me starting out as a sprinter, quickly taken over by Sully once he figured out the timing part, which is what he used me for. I see it now.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just teasing. That was
That was a great combination of talent.
Oh yeah.
Was
and
it?
So I didn't do every race. So I think I did the 2 TTs, TTTs, plus the 2 races that had climbs in them.
The climbs.
So I think there was one in France and the other one was Yorkshire. I think that's right.
How many of those did you win, Hannah?
Well, okay. But what was so funny was, I think, Sully, you were my wingman on both those.
Yeah.
So I remember in France, so there was the com, and I went up first, but there was still a lot of racing left to go. And you were not far behind, so we decided to set off together to the finish, and we did our breakaway, which worked really, really well.
AKA Hannah dragged me for like 15K. She sat at 4.0 like a machine, and I just sat in her draft.
It's great company. And then we kind of did it again in Yorkshire. I remember saying, shall we do it again? And Sully said, no, I don't think so. He didn't want to commit. But it worked. And we repeated it. We did it again.
Now, both times in like the last 3K, we will like start talking about like, okay, like who's gonna win?
Yeah. And who's gonna out sprint at the end?
Well, we get the.
But Sully was always the gentleman.
And
gave
Hannah would just
the
be
win
gone,
she deserved.
and I would. But she didn't trust me. She would sprint. She's not like she didn't believe I was just going to roll in. So
that's the competitiveness as well. Yeah.
Her own teammate.
Oh.
I remember we got to Mercury then with the other climb, and Sully's by himself again, and he's like, "I really miss Hannah."
Yeah, you weren't in that race. He took off with the 2 other ladies from Herd, and Drew and myself. I think LP was with us.
Yep.
We're like back in the chase group.
That was a bike switch one
Yeah,
too.
it was. Yeah. And Sully's just off there, and he's like, "All right, they dropped me. I'm just gonna ride
by myself."
I'm like, man, we just had Hannah up there.
Well, we had some rolling resistance issues because they didn't switch. And so they were on road bikes. I was on a gravel bike. So where I could draft Hannah, like in Z2, Z3, I was up there. So I burned out, and I think I just rode Z2 the rest of the way. All you guys passed me. I was like,
I don't know that we did pass you, actually.
We don't need the points. Like, you guys go ahead.
Right.
I'm not doing this climb again.
Well, I think it was Peter Cannonen who said that was like his first ZRL experience.
Yeah.
And we're all just like, man, sorry to set you up so high.
Yeah.
This is the peak of it right here.
Now welcome to B.
Yeah. Can I just mention that last race, that last playoff race in our series? Because, I mean, that is always going to probably be my favourite. I can't see much beating that.
That was
Here
your
it
race.
comes.
Absolutely. That was
Well,
your
it
race.
wasn't, but no,
Yeah.
it wasn't. Because for me, it epitomised the whole success of the team. I mean, we had 3 laps of the leg snapper, didn't we? And I just remember coming up to the first sprint, and I don't know what happened. I sneezed. I looked up. He's gone. You know, and I wasn't in the second group. I was in the third group. Suddenly, God knows how far back, with Dodd and Sully just, luckily getting the sprint points.
Yep.
Was that when you vomited? I don't know. It was,
That was the third lap, but yeah.
Not until the third lap.
That was, yeah. So anyhow, so I think Drew, were we in the back group?
Yeah, we were forming up the gruppetto,
Yeah. And I'm having mad anxiety, sort of mild anxiety at this point, because I know I'm expected to, be up there on the mountain, and I am so far back.
And
But
she's
Sully-
she's undefeated at this point.
Yeah.
She's won every race.
But Sully is being Sully and just saying, "You're fine. Don't worry. Don't panic. You're absolutely fine. Your time will come." So that was just, really helpful. And I think our third group then managed to merge with I think LP was in the group ahead of us.
I think so.
And by the third lap, we'd merged, so we were just in the second group. Greg was de-essing, thank goodness, as well. That was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But then coming up to the climb, the last part of the race, Drew was amazing. I mean, Drew, you just got me to the base of that climb. You did the suicide pull for, 5 minutes, and just dragged me to put me in a position to then start trying to pick riders off.
Is that?
Got me to the base, and then Greg just started
Just checking them off.
It was
Counting.
Yeah. Full Pac-Man, weren't you? It's like nom nom nom.
Yeah.
We started literally counting,
Yeah.
counting them
dots.
off.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
that
was
was-
a good time.
And then Dodd, you switched the avatar, I don't know, at some point, whereas you switched it to fan view me, so it was lovely. So you could actually see me picking them off as Greg is counting them.
So I think it was Lee Brill who said, like, after the fact, he was watching it. He's like, yeah, it cut off after Hannah finished. I was like, well, yeah, you didn't need to see me. I was like, you're back in 30th position.
Yeah.
I think we all fan
But
viewed.
yeah, what a race.
We all
What
stopped
a race
watching
that
ourselves.
was.
We all fan viewed Hannah just fine.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I just
Yeah.
looked at my watts per kilo on my companion app
Yep.
and just kept it at like 3.2 and then just watched her. It was great.
But what was so good about having Greg? So it's that climb has flat bits. So I'm in a zone because I am just legs are going and I can't even look at what's going around me. But in my ear, I've got Greg saying, "Okay, flat bit coming up. Keep pushing those legs and keep turning." And honestly, no word of a lie, Greg. Without that, I don't think I'd have been able to have done it, or wouldn't have been as close as I was. So thank you.
Wow. Thanks, Hannah.
I will.
Yeah.
It was so fun to
How
watch.
close to the front did you end up getting?
So I finished second because the lady who finished first, I think she started she started climbing in the front group, wasn't she?
Right.
I mean, she had
Correct.
a big lead on me. But I think my ascent of the climb was quicker than hers.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
By
Yes.
like, I think it was
But I
45
couldn't-
seconds or something. Yeah, it was something
Yeah, but I
huge.
couldn't catch her
Yep.
because she was. Yeah.
No, I think I was going to say I thought Hannah got I thought you were within a minute of her finish.
Yeah.
Or was that too aggressive?
I mean, credit to her.
Sounds right to
She's
me.
out there by herself, isn't it? She's by herself out there, which is not a great place
Yeah.
to be. And I have rabbits or targets to pick off, and somebody advising me. So it
Well,
was
and especially whenever
easier
you're
for
talking,
me.
when the fastest through segment gets 20 points automatically,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have to pay attention to that. And to be on the front, you have no idea. You're just trudging
Yeah.
along.
this is it. Yeah.
But yeah, I will
So-
agree with you. Anytime that we get to race with Greg in our ears, it's a pleasure.
That's the thing about
Oh, it is.
It's so comic.
Yes, mellifluous voice.
So-
Yeah.
Says Dr. Radio Voice.
It's Mr. Radio Voice at this moment. I'm not at work.
But in terms of those races, we didn't drop a point, did we? I mean, the points at the end of the race, we
Won every race.
got maximum points.
That was the perfect season, all the way around.
It was.
Swept
Yeah.
the season, yeah.
Yeah.
And the season only happened because of God.
Yeah.
Stop.
Master recruiter.
Stop. Don't give me any of that credit. Come on.
We had moved into a new zone with no teams, and nobody signed up
Yeah.
except us.
And we were.
So
I know. I was like, I want to do this. Like, I feel like my fitness is peaking. I feel like I'm gonna do well. And yeah. And Sully and I went back and forth, and he's like, "Do we open it up?" What do you mean? It's like, let's go hunting. And I know this now, but by we, he meant me. And we have referenced this in conversation since. I was his intern. I got played so hard by some. Yeah, man, you should do that.
you're welcome.
It was worth it. I mean,
It was worth doing.
Dodd was on Facebook. He was on Reddit. He was
Twitter. I was out there tweeting.
hunting. Big game hunting.
Yeah, that's right. I tweeted Elon Musk. He was like, "No, who are you? Leave me alone." I mean, 1,000 tweets probably was a little extreme, but we'll see.
So we didn't even know if we were going to have a season initially.
It's true.
And then, we won every race in Atlantic, but there were only 6 teams, so we really didn't know kind of where we fit in.
Yeah.
How do we compare to all the other zones? Because I think we all assumed our zone was
Not as competitive.
not
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, didn't you encourage a field of D's to ride in your
I
CBR?
might have coerced a field of D's.
That actually happened twice, though.
Okay.
Those four guys. They did a heck of a job both seasons. Yeah, they raced up a category both times.
Yes. Admirable indeed.
Yeah.
Well, it came down to managing the roster. I think they only had 5 Ds
Yep.
who were going to have to race
Okay.
C anyway.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if any of them promoted, like at some point it was a
Yeah.
mess.
That would be the end of their season.
But they have a
Right.
great attitude and love it, so they just
Yeah.
did the thing.
That's right. And they got a couple of promotions out of it.
Yep.
And
they did.
those guys are still riding together on Trois.
Yep. So I'm
So
Yeah.
Zero Dark Dirty.
Zero Dark Dirty, which I have to take. I want to give credit to that name because that's probably, in my opinion, one of the best names we have. My wife came up with that name.
Flirt and Ernie.
Yep.
Okay, Dirt and Ernie's a good one. I'll give you that.
Well,
But my
Those are the two that when they get talked about on DCL, it's always nice. I like
Yeah.
that.
but my wife
I
came up
was
with
retired
Zero
at
Dark
that
Dirty. I don't know if you guys know this.
Did you really?
I told her, I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, come up with something that starts, that's involves D." And she's like, "Well, you guys get up super early," and then just rolled off her tongue. I was like, "Oh, you're a genius."
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we've talked about this yet, guys, but Hannah's going to make a comeback this season
Did she ever go away?
all right.
It was all right.
for ZC. she said, "I'm ready for
ZRL?
ZRL. Like, where should I go?"
Are you?
Yeah.
Now I have a question for you. Are you going to do C?
I asked the expert where he thought I should, slot in, and he thought I would be of most use in a good C group.
So
So who am I to argue?
I agree with that. I will say there's been a couple of people recently who have joined Eat Dirt to have the championship team experience. So no pressure.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
So and Paolo was like, "How are we going to replace all these people? Or are we going to be able to win again?" And I was just like,
Not a problem.
Don't worry about it.
There's some ringers out
"No
there.
problem."
They come a calling.
I still I still haven't promoted that. I can. Hold on,
You have to get your 4 races in.
no, that's only to be in the playoffs.
Dude, we're talking playoffs already. Come on. This is championship number
Drew,
3 for you.
Drew, the season was actually pretty close until that race.
I know.
I jumped
said,
in.
I was like, I don't know if we didn't have Sully for that race. Byron's game it. I don't know.
You guys would have won. It just would have been closer until the last week.
Would have been splitting.
Like we opened that gap where nobody else was even in the ballpark.
Now, I have a question for Hannah from the audience.
John? Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because, I mean, we all know that the Eat Dirt group gets a little
Body?
rowdy's a good word. I was going to go with locker room, but rowdy's a good word.
Yeah.
So the female perspective on that, I'm curious. You just kind of like shove it out of your mind or what?
It's funny. Yeah, I can't speak. I can only speak for myself, obviously, and we all have different standards. But for
Ours
me,
are low, but go ahead.
And mine aren't much higher. Let's be honest. So if I've accepted. If at time of recording, I am the only MIRT in Eat Dirt, and you either throw yourself in and become part of that, or you're on the periphery. And I think it's very funny. Most of it. It's,
well, we appreciate that.
I haven't really enjoyed. I haven't joined the poop channel yet. Maybe that is a little bit. That might be one step too far. But I get stuck in.
Sully,
and I think
can you tell her what she's missing in the poop channel, please? Oh, you can't because you have it muted.
I was just gonna say girls don't poop, so it makes sense to not be in there.
Exactly.
Says the father of boys.
I'll be honest. Poop channel is sometimes a lot safer than the
I
mornings
agree.
with Miller. So.
Yeah.
The poop channel's been rather quiet. People are constipated this week. I don't know.
I think in general, the whole Discord, and some of you guys are on it so often. I just don't know how you hold down day jobs. But for the rest of us who can just sort of jump in and jump out,
Hannah,
there's a lot of funny stuff.
I felt your eyes stare directly into my soul when you said that. So
I was, it's my screen. Yeah, I mean, I'm still chuckling at that photo that Kelso posted, or with Sully
the cutest gay couple in
and their kids, and Steve Monica's comment. It's things like that. It was just literally one big happy family.
Yeah, I will say Steve's comment to that started an avalanche, but that was entertaining.
Yeah.
Three children's enough for me.
That's like the millennial version of Full House.
But I think there's so much crap going on in this world at the moment. So it's the banter on the Discord channel. It's a welcome distraction at times. It really is.
But I think regardless of how rowdy it gets, we all still will revert back to, yeah, man, or yes, lady,
woman.
do your thing, get stronger, get faster, whatever. Yeah. It's all encouragement.
That's what it is.
So.
It is.
Ironically, I think, Hannah, I think you've met more in real life dirts than any of us, right? You go for regular rides in England with them, right?
No, not regular rides. I did a one summer meetup with a group. I think they were Down and Dirty. I think hosted by John Walters, and we had. I think it is something that we will probably do. We will be doing again in the future when the weather improves. Certainly. Yep. He lives in Surrey. So that ride that I joined, that I invited myself on, we ended up doing Box Hill and Leith Hill as well. So So
Now,
pretty cool.
did your in real life time compare to your Zwift time? 'Cause if not,
well, it's funny. Leith Hill is not like Leith Hill on Zwift.
Yeah.
Leith Hill has got sort of different ways of reaching the summit. So it's not, you can't really make a comparison. Box Hill much more replicates in real life the Box Hill that you have on Zwift.
see, I was going to say you're probably more concerned about dropping your fellow riders, so you took it easy, right? Yeah, that's
let's
what
go
it
with
is.
that. Yeah.
Greg, down and dirty is also the answer to an Eat Dirt trivia question.
Uh-oh. What's the? Is this like Jeopardy? We have to guess the question.
It's not who is the first TTT. I don't know.
That was our second choice name, and I think it's the name we raced World Championships under
Ooh,
Oh man,
with Jimmy.
Interesting.
really?
I totally forgot this.
We
Wow.
only used it for 1 week. And that was the name I was ready to go with until Greg invented it.
Overruled.
Oh man,
Yeah.
How things would
wow.
have changed.
Ooh.
I got to go back and find that screenshot. Sounds right.
You get the full effect,
So
the lore and everything.
in my recruiting phase, I actually got to be a part of starting Down and Dirty, Todd.
You have fingers in so many pies, Sully.
Yes.
Like we were recruiting on Facebook, and we didn't have any teams in any of those kind of middle zones. And
Yeah.
So we, I just had like 6 people like, "Hey, can we ride in this zone?" I was like, "No," but I threw them all in a Discord channel and said good luck.
Oh yeah.
And somebody stepped up. John stepped up to lead. I think like week 2.
The rest is history. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking the other day about how large the servers are, and I had always thought that ours was one of the largest. But like Rascals has a ton of people.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Like activity.
ours I think is still the most active.
That's probably
A
true.
lot of people come over.
Yes.
Rascals have a world domination plan. Like they would take over every zone.
They're like
if
the
they could.
Borg.
Uh,
Science fiction reference there.
okay, thank you. I was going with the Putin, but no, maybe not.
Well, is it
Too much?
poutine or Putin?
Wow, I'm gonna tell Jeff you compared him to Or were you thinking Ian? Who are we throwing under the bus here?
Dad, you'll just cut this bit out,
cut-
won't you, please?
Cut that. We'll cut that. That's right.
Seamlessly, yeah.
We're not cutting it.
I might even post a teaser on Discord. For that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Vote in the comments. Who did she call Putin?
Oh,
Greg, do you have a special segment today?
I do have my special segment, but I wanted to ask Hannah. This is hopefully a short question.
yeah.
Is your daughter, that was a junior triathlete, is she jealous that your bike and setup is better than hers?
I'd like to say yes, but no, not at all. She, shortly after I started cycling, it coincided with her lack of interest in
Mom's doing this.
triathlon.
It's not cool anymore.
It is, yeah. Boys
That's the
are
alternative.
more interesting. Mum's an embarrassment. So, yeah, no, there was never any jealousy. Now it's more, I get the eye rolls, God, what's Mum doing? Ugh.
She's on Discord with
and
all
then-
those
and
dudes.
then
Did you guys ever race?
No, we never. No, we didn't. But when they are home, they have a horrible habit on a Thursday of secretly filming, standing at the door, filming me, straining as if I'm trying to push out a big poo with the sound effects, as they call it, my sex noises, and then they record this, post it in their Snapchat history, and ping it out to about 300 of their friends. So,
And I'm so glad that
that's
got
their
brought up,
involvement.
because that is also one of my defining moments, is like the recordings of our TTTs. At the end, I almost have to put a disclaimer, like, not safe for work.
It's awful.
It's kind of like the intro to this podcast.
It is.
But worse. In fact, my
A little heavy
husband,
breathing shouldn't scare you away.
my husband has been known on occasion to shut the doors when it gets too much. It's pretty bad.
You could install it.
Hannah, are your kids as competitive as you?
Nobody in this family. I think there's only space for one person.
You'd be only one alpha.
Yeah, no, I am the competitive person in the family.
I think my kids are more competitive than me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a tall order right there. I'm curious.
But it's definitely something that you're. I've thought about this, and I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something you're born with. I just don't think. So my daughter, who was a triathlete, bags of talent physically, but not competitive. And you just, as much as I wanted to kind of encourage that, if it's not part of your DNA, your makeup, you can't. Whereas I would say I displayed competitive traits from a very early age, and they've just continued. They've just continued throughout life.
Right. The application has changed, but they've been there all along. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty
I
much.
could see
yes.
that. Awesome.
Yeah. So,
right.
Greg, you were gonna.
It's segment time. We're gonna make our way back to nonstop name days, where we just run through. There's a day for everything, or a name for every day at this point. But I got to say, this last week was a real treat for our nonstop name dayers. March 10th was Mario Day. March 11th was National 311 Day. March 12th, of course, was National Girl Scout Day. The 13th was Daylight Savings Time. I hate that.
Strongly dislike.
March 14th. What's that?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it. March 14th was Pie Day, of course. And then yesterday, as everyone knows, was National Kansas Day.
Right, yeah,
And
we
there
celebrate
you
it.
go.
Yeah.
I'm actually petitioning.
One of our favorite
I was actually
days.
going to petition.
We got St. Patrick's coming up tomorrow.
It's true. Hey, I was going to petition actually for International Kansas Day. I think it deserves a global stage. I do.
Yeah.
Hey, sunflowers are real popular right now.
Kids, wave to the children.
Oh yeah.
Is that? Well, I don't want to say his name in case you don't want to tell me, but on the podcast. But I think I know which one that is. I'm slowly getting to know which one's which. Everyone knows the youngest.
The Sullivan boys.
That's your oldest, is it? I think.
Yeah, that's the oldest.
There he is.
There's a Michael.
Hey. He's waking up.
He said, "Why is it so
Why is
windy?"
it so windy?
Why is it so
It
windy?
gets hot on the bike. His camera is like freaking out. Doesn't know who to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one?
It's got
Oh.
the auto zoom on. Do you guys see the Peloton in the background?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I see Sully's wife now facing the opposite wall. The next
Tell her
door.
we said hi.
Hello.
He's like,
She's in the zone.
yeah, we can't talk to her, right, Hannah? Not right now.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
No, the national name day though is such a funny thing. Like, I'll be honest, and only because I'm a little slow in the uptake on some things. I didn't understand Mario Day right away, and then I wrote out like Mar 10. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's probably because you're pronouncing it Mario. If you said it Mario, it would make more sense.
Mario.
I
You should know those things in New York City.
Greg, I thought your segment was going to take a turn there. I thought you were talking about Woke Wednesday, Freedom Friday, what we affectionately gave Monday, which was not going to be PG.
No.
Yeah, everyone else missed that one. I'm not going to elaborate here.
The mind boggles.
This is not the time or place.
I think there's been a couple of them, and none of them
no.
So.
So that's why we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Which brings us to...
Anybody know what is today?
Today is the
Anybody check yet?
16th.
16th.
Oh, it's
today.
It's Cold Stone Steve Austin Day.
Ooh.
Stone
Let's-
Cold.
oh, it
Stone
is.
Cold, my bad.
Steve Austin.
Yes, the ice cream man.
You didn't know his cousin, the guy that did the ice cream?
The scoops.
It is also National Freedom of Information Day,
Freedom of Information Day. All right.
I'll take Cold Stone over that.
which is a day I hate.
Greg, check your list. Because
Yeah.
probably near the bottom, it's my birthday.
What?
It is her birthday.
Oh,
It's
man.
Hannah's birthday?
It must be on there somewhere.
I was going to bring it up at the end.
This is maybe the research department's.
No. I knew. She told me.
No.
I said, "Hey, can you come be on the podcast on 3/16?" And she said, "Yes, that's my birthday, but it's actually 16/3, right?" Yeah, which is through my mind. I'm like, there's not 16 months.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Hannah.
Yeah, happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank
Do
you.
you have big plans for your birthday?
That's awesome.
Not today, but the funny thing is, my husband is 2 days younger than me.
Nice. Cougar.
So,
All right.
So we tend to kind of. So we're going out. We're going to split the difference. We're going out for a meal tomorrow night.
Well, that'll be lovely. Do you have a favorite meal for your birthday you like to eat? Or?
Well, the place we're going to is it's an upmarket, all-you-can-eat, thingy. So I will be wearing my stretchy
It's
pants.
a good thing on a Thursday.
And
Are you okay sharing your birthday, or do you get competitive about it?
there you go. No, it's fine. It's because I come first, so I can always see what you bought me. If necessary.
No, I'm fine sharing because I'm going to win.
If necessary, I can run out, and I've got a day to buy him something else or get a better card. So never that way round.
See, my birthday ends up like really close to Mother's Day, and I'm always like, listen.
I love you.
Your poor mom.
Yeah.
So we'll, I guess, finish with Drew telling us about his experience.
Drew's Clues.
Drew's Clues.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Probably. I gotta be honest, I was a little let down. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was awesome. You guys warned me about it. You did, in fairness. Everybody was like, all right, you gotta get through it. I was like, all right. But, I don't know. It was a cool story, but, I mean, Peter Quill went this entire time not knowing he was a god, have god powers for 30 minutes, and then lose said god powers because he had to kill his father.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was just the first one was so good.
That was the thing.
Well,
the bar was so high.
I also think the way that you're watching that one immediately after the first one, of course it's not going to be as good. But if you had a year between them, you've been like, oh, it's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's all about timing.
I will say, I think they played on like the whole one-liner thing really well, though. There were so many, so many funny one-liners in the second one, just because I think they realized like the punchy wit that they had on the cast. Stanley sighting, he was the astronaut talking to some aliens on a planet. Hey guys, where you going? I got plenty more stories.
Drew messaged me and he's like, "How is Peter Quill not your favorite? He's from Missouri."
Yeah,
and I was like, "He is not my favorite, but he is from Missouri."
This weekend we
Can I just say this sums up for me totally. 95% of the time I'm with you guys. 5% of the time, I haven't a clue what you're talking about.
She's like, I'll just wait till it comes back around to something I know. Oh, fine. I'll be here.
Yeah, I'll just sit here. I'll be quiet.
No Marvel movies for you, Hannah?
Which brings me
No
to my
Avengers.
favorite quote from the movie, which is Drax, and he's like, I too am extraordinarily humble.
Yeah. I love Drax.
So dry.
Drax is a classic. But yeah, this weekend we got Age of
Oh,
Ultron.
dear.
All right, that's a good one.
We go back to the Avengers.
It's a good classic summer blockbuster.
Yep, that was it. Looking forward to it.
Hannah, what kind of movies do you like?
Not sci-fi. I'm definitely not
Okay.
a sci. I've slept through Star Wars countless times. Yeah.
Little rom-com fan or romance
Yeah,
comedy?
Ron.
She likes the light comedies, Schindler's List, and yeah.
No. I have a broad spectrum as long as it's not unbelievable. And for me, you know, sci-fi is
Too much for you. Yeah.
So a little bit too much.
I think that's why I like Guardians of the Galaxy so much, is I'm a big fan of like silly humor. So their sense of like silly humor was awesome. You know, Chris Pratt has dry sense of humor that, you know, with the one-liners. But
The
I think that's why I like that one so much.
it's the old school generation. That's what we are. It's like
Yep.
old school dodgeball.
Dodgeball. Dude, where's my car?
All right, you lost me there.
No?
No, I'm with you. Still
Still
there.
in.
There we
Dude.
go.
Love that movie. So stupid.
Greg, you're a little old for that movie. You tried to disown us and distance yourself, and now you're trying to.
He called himself a geriatric millennial, which is a term.
Well, apparently that's what I learned last year. My age band is called.
Which technically I think Sully and I are
disagree.
also in. Drew, you might have just escaped.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I think I'm on the upper cusp of millennial.
Yeah.
Or the one just before. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It all gets muddled after a while.
So the wrapping of this is, Hannah, you get to tell people on your birthday you hung out in a group full of millennials. And you'll get all the sympathy you'll ever want.
Indeed.
Well, Hannah, happy birthday. Thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
We have
Happy birthday.
Happy
Thanks,
we
birthday.
have the
guys.
pleasure of being able to see you again tomorrow because you'll be there hanging with us. So anyway,
I'll be there, and
and good luck in ZRL this season. We hope you win it all because we'll be there to push you.
I for everybody else's sake, yes.
You'll do great. You're the secret weapon. I already know that. So, all right, guys. Till next week. We'll see you then.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Suck it, Miller.